Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
F9, the Fast Saga, the 9th film in the Fast and the Furious franchise, which not that long ago I did a top 5. I ranked my top 5 Fast and the Furious films after rewatching the entire series, filling in all the gaps that I had. And it is a fun series in general. I love this series, and I specifically love how in the 5th movie, Fast 5, it takes a turn. It takes a turn from being, just kind of like a car culture movie, which is still an aspect of it, but turn that into kind of doing like little crimes here and there, turning it into like a global espionage, Mission Impossible kind of type action adventure movie. Like it like amped up into like craziness after Fast and the Furious, or during Fast and the Furious 5, and has it's grown in the same direction, each movie kind of becoming more and more crazy. And I would say that Justin Lin, the director of F9, is my favorite director for this franchise. I think his vision for these characters and for the action all fits together. Just so good. He did Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, Fast 5. Fast and Furious was the 4th one, which kind of brought the franchise back from obscurity in a lot of ways. And then I think he did one other, potentially, and then doing F9. He's back. Different director for Fast and the Furious 8, which I rewatched just to refresh myself on the franchise, also kind of to recalibrate my expectations, to kind of really get back in the vibe of Fast and Furious movies, because it's a series of movies that, if watched from the wrong kind of perspective, just having the wrong type of wavelength, could be the worst movies made, like really bad, because there is a lot of cheese in these movies, and F9 is no different. There is heavy cheese in this movie, but there is also amazing action scenes, like ridiculously entertaining and implausible action scenes, where if you're not in sync with the vibe of a Fast and the Furious movie, could be off-putting. But if you know the type of acting you're going to expect, if you know the cliches of the franchise, if you just appreciate these characters, it's like a very melodramatic soap opera mixed with crazy action movie set alongside like international espionage type stuff. Like almost, actually, they're kind of like Blackwater kind of guys. But it's crazy because they're like all car people. And in this one, the crazy intro, the first action set piece of this movie that just never ends. It just keeps getting crazier and crazier. There is a plethora of vehicle choices. Like every member of the team is driving a different category of vehicle. Like you have dirt bike, you have like Jeep, you have like SUV, you have tank, you have pickup truck. Like there's every kind of vehicle is given a voice in this movie franchise. Similarly to the multicultural aspect of the franchise as well, where there's a plethora of races of people and ethnicities that are part of this great franchise. And this one is having to do a lot of very tricky writing to tie up a lot of loose ends from the rough nature of the franchise, because the franchise has kind of had its ups and downs, gone this way and that. Some storylines have been kind of it's been a stretch It's been a stretch. Thankfully, the fact that we're stretching the perception of reality, as it were, with all these action scenes, it's not that hard to also allow for a narrative stretch, specifically in reference to the character Han, who was very unceremoniously killed in one of the movies, but then and killed by another character, by Statham's character, that we come to find out. And then Statham kind of has a redemptive moment in the 8th film where he saves Dom's kid, and they kind of have a moment at the end. But, like, not a good guy that killed Han, a beloved member of the team. But they had to do some tricky writing where it's like at the end of one of the movies, they kind of make it so that Tokyo Drift was a prequel, and that Han went to Tokyo after the events of, like, Fast and the Furious 7 or whatever. I forget which one it was. Whichever one Gal Gadot dies in, and Han and her had a thing. So he decides to go, at least that's how they wrote it, to go to Tokyo. And then the idea is that Tokyo Drift took was like not a prequel, but like it was out of order. Anyway, it's not the chronological order of the film. But what I love is that they, not only did they bring back Han, which is great, they were able to write him back in, which is perfect. It's wackadoodle as it is. I still, like, there's twist after twist of why Han's still alive. I can go along with that. But I also love that they bring back the Tokyo Drift crew. Every time the Tokyo Drift crew is on screen, I love this movie. Especially when Tyrese and what's the other dude's name? Tyrese and Ludacris are teamed up with them. Great chemistry. Tyrese in this movie, every time Tyrese is in this movie, it's amazing. Because he is like the only person in this movie who understands the insane reality that he's living in. Like, he makes comments, he thinks he's invincible at one point. Like, it's a big theme of his character in this, that he's like seriously realizing the movie he's in. And it's the best. You want to talk about like a meta, like very much. I reviewed the newest Scream 2022 earlier in the week, and the Scream franchise is a very meta franchise. I also talked about Euphoria Season 2, the last 2 episodes of Season 2, very meta aspect where there's a play referencing all the characters in the show. Tyrese is like the only character who is referencing the fact that he's in a wackadoodle action movie that somehow he makes it out without a scratch. I love it. I love his character in that. And every time he and Ludacris are in a scene with the Tokyo Drift guys, I love it. I love the Tokyo Drift guys. Seriously. And even little Bow Wow's there. Everybody looks super old. It's crazy. Han looks like he's, just from the last time he was in a Fast and the Furious movie till now, kind of a bummer. God, what is that actor's name? It's probably not even going to be. Guys, a guy that's in a lot of. Well, he was in Tokyo Drift, but he was also in the other Justin Lin movie. I'm blanking on the name of that movie. Anyway. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com, patreon.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out. Browse the entire collection. And when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. I love the Tokyo Drift guys. I'm glad they came back. I'm glad Han is back. The big thing about this is that that Dom has a brother, right? Another kind of, so much of this is very soap opera-y. The fact that they're able to bring characters back from the dead with some creative writing, the acting, the performances during the dramatic scenes are overly melodramatic. But the big thing, the biggest kind of mental, like, flexible gymnastics, the things that I have to like let go of reality the most to comprehend and be with this movie is the fact that John Cena is Dom's brother, and there's characters that mention they see the similarities in them, that they clearly come from the same family, which is a ridiculous statement to make. John Cena in this is a horrible person. The story, the reasoning for his story is wacky. The reason, like, that he has not been in Dom's life, like, there's a bit of a flashback. This movie starts in 1989, where Dom's dad is a rally car driver, NASCAR driver, I don't know, specific racing, whatever. And he's in a horrible crash that kills him. And then you come to find out that, also his brother was part of the pit crew also. So Dom and his brother Jacob, part of their dad's pit crew. And then you come to find out that, the brother, Dom finds out that the brother was responsible for his dad's death, or at least we think so. And because of that, they have a race-off to when Dom gets out of prison because he went crazy on the guy that, that was racing against his dad and bumped him and caused the accident. Dom gets out of prison and then has a race-off with Jacob to see who gets to stay and who gets to go, which is, in any other movie, would be stupid as hell. It would be so dumb. But a Fast and the Furious movie, obviously. I mean, the fact that people think that John Cena and Vin Diesel are related in this movie is ridiculous. The fact that both these brothers had exact same life paths, where they were both into cars from a young age, were both excellent drivers, and somehow both got into being contract, military guys. Like, they had the exact same paths to where they meet. All of that is mind-blowingly ridiculous, but fits perfectly within the universe of Fast and the Furious. This is a crazy movie. I love this movie. I don't know where it would stack. It would definitely, I like this movie better than Fast and Furious 1, which I think was my number 5 on my top 5 list. So this could easily be number 5. If not for, like, the over-the-top, like, cheeseball ridiculousness with everything was just too extra. Like, it's nice when you see a movie or a director or somebody kind of take that extra step. Just seeing, like, it's so good, but then they did that, and it's even so much better. It's like this movie's trying to do so much. It's trying to fix the Han story. But even in the Han story that's already overly complex, they add another character. This, like, 11-year-old that was, like, the child of a family that got caught in the crossfire with some criminal shit, and they died. And Han became her, like, mentor. Just this new character, which the age of how everything works out, the logic of all that, I don't know. She was supposedly 11 when he came across her, but, like, in the reality of this movie, it wasn't that long ago that he was in Tokyo. So, like, maybe a few years. So it's like at most, what, she's 13, but she looks like she's 19. I don't know. You're having to let go of reality and logic a bit to go along with this movie, which is fine. I mean, once Fast 5 happened, like, you knew this movie was like, oh, this is a cartoon. This is a live action cartoon. Just enjoy this live action cartoon. And when it's dramatic, it's overly. You want to see the worst acting on planet Earth? Watch Vin Diesel acting with his kid in this movie. It is like, and even the end of this movie, the end dinner scene, because there's always the end dinner scene with the family, and Paul Walker's character, is supposed to be, to show up. It's just like bad, but it fits because it's a Fast and the Furious movie. There's going to be some overly sentimental, emotional stuff, and Vin Diesel is just like so unbelievable as like, he feels like it looks so awkward trying to like present like soft emotions like care and love is very like foreign kind of like he's better at like being brooding and angry is kind of his wheelhouse. And then also like the writing of this, the fact that Jacob is his long lost brother, by the way, Mia is back too, which at no point do they mention they have a brother. It should have been written and would have made way more sense if John Cena was related to the Paul Walker character. Because he even speaks like Paul Walker speaks. Like, obviously a little bit deeper. It's like if Paul Walker took a bunch of steroids throughout his life, he might sound like John Cena. But John Cena has like at least while watching this movie, it's like, wow, he sounds a lot like Paul Walker. And Paul Walker sounds like Paul Walker in every Paul Walker movie. Like he was like very much a Keanu Reeves type, where it's like they sound the same and everything. And John Cena has, and so, and they kind of look similar. They're both, would have made way more sense. They would have had to change a lot of this story, but it would have been, it's still, because he was so much of a part of that family, the Paul Walker character, like the fact that Paul Walker's brother had been, like, they could have written some amazing thing and would have had just the same amount of emotional stakes. And, the redemption would have been, wouldn't have been the same, because it's like Dom, they have like this thing where, of course, there's the redemption thing where Dom ends up being the bigger man, the thing that his dad said it's not about being the stronger man, it's about who's the bigger man. And, it's the lesson that Dom learns towards the end of this movie, where he, is on his brother's side, is compassionate towards his brother. So that wouldn't have, that would have been tricky. But you still could have had something like that, some redeeming thing. He could have been responsible for, well, although he's not dead in this universe, but he could have been the brother. And he could have, it would have made more sense as John Cena being Paul Walker's brother than Vin Diesel's brother. But either way, and they ended up in the same place, same path. It's crazy. Statham's mom has a little part in this, not the actual actor, but his character. I'm not sure if his name was Hobbs or Shaw. But his mom, who was in that movie, of course, no Rock anywhere, which is fine. Like, it was, the Rock, the outside of the real life aspects of the Fast and the Furious franchise, like, the Rock has kind of been a bitch and clearly tried to take over the franchise, and then clearly was talking shit about Vin Diesel and the franchise in his movie Red Notice, which I do not like. Like, this franchise is wacky and crazy, but like, it earned that. Like, Red Notice is just The Rock and Ryan Reynolds doing The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot just reading lines. Like, it is the least inspiring action movie. Versus this amazing action scenes. The first, like I said, first action set piece of this movie is ridiculous. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. I mean, even the fact that they don't go to the moon, they go to space, which I'm sure everybody knows by now. I knew it going in. But when it happened, it's like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. Of course they're going to go to space. And those are the best characters. Of course, the guy that thinks he's immortal, that's like, what is going on? Why is, like, even their, like, whole thing, their little speech thing going like, well, we got to do this thing. Like, I love all of these characters. So it's like, yeah, and they somehow survived because it's a Fast and the Furious movie. There's like one conversation where there's this like billionaire, right? Of course, there's a billionaire who's funding John Cena. And it's like probably my least favorite aspect of this movie. There's a conversation with him and Charlize Theron's character, Cypher, and he's like this billionaire that's like trying to compare himself to a Star Wars character. And it's like, man, it's just like out of nowhere. It's like this billionaire is all of a sudden like a massive Star Wars nerd. But has never really thought of who he would be, who he thinks he is. Like at first it was Skywalker, and then he's like, no, I need more power than that. And then I forget what he changed, and Charlize Theron called him Yoda, and he's like, oh, yeah, Yoda, okay. Because he's super powerful, right? And she's like, no, because Yoda was a puppet, and, you know, you're just somebody that's got somebody else's hand up their ass. Which, you know, he's only got money because of his dad, and this was like a power play for him to try and get richer than his dad. But that whole back and forth was bad. And also just the fact that, like, a billionaire being this, like, hands-on with anything. Oh, yeah, like a billionaire is going to be in one of the vehicles that's, like, in danger. No. I can't see any billionaire doing that. I mean, it's like, even, like, yeah, like, the Amazon guy, Jeffrey Bezos, he went in his space shuttle. Sure. I don't know if Elon Musk did, but I'm sure if he didn't, he will, right? That's one thing. But they're not, you know, going out to the Ukraine to go fight in any battles. Like, they're not putting themselves in any real danger. Where this guy is, for some reason, so hands-on, he wants to, I mean, but again, it's a Fast and the Furious. That's, like, not that crazy. It's just the Star Wars references out of nowhere. And just kind of pathetic start. Like, I don't know. It's just like, out of all of the pop culture things you could refer to like compare yourself to in a moment of like feeling powerful, Star Wars is so hacky. Like, it's just like the most hacky. One of the most hackiest comparisons is to go with Star Wars. And that was like way before the franchise really shit the bed. But it is what it is. My least favorite part. But yeah, I think that's... Oh, and there's a post-credit scene, which is, I don't know. I guess kind of a little redemption moment for Han, featuring Jason Statham. I mean, it didn't really show much. Probably, I would imagine, fleshed out. There's rumors that there's going to be that Jason Lin, is it Jason Lin? Justin Lin? Justin Lin's going to be directing Fast and Furious 10, which Momoa is going to be part of. So it'll be interesting to see if Statham is in that one, and or see if there's any mention to what happened with that when Han confronted him at the post-credit scene of this. Kind of a stupid post-credit scene. Like Statham, it shows just a dude in a hoodie beating up on a heavy bag, kicks and punches, and then you find out that there's somebody in the punching bag, and that it's Statham trying to get information, but he didn't really need to get information. He already had the information, but he just likes beating up on people. And then there's a knock at the door, and bam, it's Han. So kind of, doesn't, I mean, I don't know. It didn't really, it was kind of weak, but overall, I really had a lot of fun with the movie, surprisingly. I did. It's dumb in all the best ways. Like it's almost like knowingly dumb. It's cartoonish, crazy action where you're way better than the last one. Way like the opening action sequence in this is in a lot of ways similar to the last action sequence in 8, except for in 8 it's like on ice. Because they're out in like Russia and there's like a submarine or whatever. In this one, it's in a jungle. So just visually way more exciting to look at. And there's a car rope swings part. It's great. It perfectly sets the tone for this movie. It's just so much fun. And I just can't wait to see what this family gets into next. It's just, I love this franchise. I'm excited to see every movie that they do. I mean, I'm happy that they're making money to make this ridiculous thing that's just so much fun. It's so much fun. And like fun to make fun of too. Like I enjoy these movies, but I also like it because it pokes fun at itself too at times, which I appreciate as well. It's not taking itself seriously. I mean, great stuff. So check it out. It's on HBO Max right now. F9, The Fast Saga. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.